Welcome to episode number 96. And in this episode, it's Monday. And so we're talking about how do we win the week? Well, in today's episode, I'm going to share with you 3 strategies that you can apply in your life to win this week. Stay tuned. So the big question is, how do ambitious people like us, who grew up listening to the old advice of go to school, work hard for 40 years, and retire when you're old, create a life today that is meaningful, abundant, healthy, and brings joy, while also leading a life that is productive and full of achievement? That is the question, and this is the podcast that will help give you the answers that you're searching for. My name is Del Denny, and welcome to the Upgrade Your Life podcast. Hey, my friends, this is Del Denny, and before we get into today's podcast, I wanted to ask you a question. Have you ever wondered what your purpose in life is? Or do you feel you're just going through the motions? Wake up, go to work, pay the bills, go to sleep, and repeat? Too many people are just going through the motions. Many people are feeling burned out, and many people are wondering if there's more to life than what's in front of them. And that's why I created a free audio training called How to Find Your Purpose. When you find out what your individual, unique purpose in life is, it'll change your life forever. Imagine waking up every day and feeling alive, happy, and vibrant because you know your purpose. Well, I've put together a free audio training for you, my friends, to help you find your purpose. It's a 4-step framework that'll help solve your individual, unique purpose in life. Inside this program, you'll also learn 8 strategies to live a more vibrant life. Head on over to deldenny.com and click free training at the top. That's deldenny.com and click free training, or you can look in the show notes of this podcast for the link as well. Now, without further ado, on to today's podcast. What's going on? Del Denny here, and today I want to talk about 3 things to do to win the week. Now, this is a crazy week because there's a lot of emotion in the air. It's the elections here in the United States, and there's a lot of uncertainty happening, and there's so much craziness, so much bickering going on. And so I want to share with you 3 things that will help you win the week. And now a lot of this has to do with mindset, but here's the first one as we get into it. And the first one is this idea of amnesty. And amnesty, if we were to read the quote of what amnesty is, the definition says this. It says, what is the meaning of amnesty? Well, it's an act of forgiveness for the past offenses, a general pardon for offenses, especially political offenses against a government, often granted before any trial or conviction. Law, an act of forgiveness for past offenses. And you kind of get it. Forgetting or overlooking of any past offenses. That you kind of get the trend, right? And so we think about this a lot, with the president giving amnesty, but I want to use this in context with how we treat one another. I think right now everyone could use a little bit of amnesty towards each other. I would love to get to a point where we're more accepting of other people's beliefs. Just because someone doesn't think the way that we think, doesn't mean that we have to hate them. A little amnesty goes a long way. You just think, hey, I pardon you. That's all it is. A little pardon, if you will. That person is, Republican, Democrat. They're opposite of me, whatever it is. It's okay. I pardon them. And just go on with yourself. To have a little amnesty this week, I think, is really important. Because emotions are high and intelligence is low. That's how it works. When emotion is high, intelligence is low. So when you see people getting riled up, you see people bickering on Facebook, hey, just pardon them in your mind, go on. A little love and forgiveness goes a long way. Now, the second thing to win the week is to be humble in victory and defeat. We're all human. This election has the whole country stirred up. So when the elections happen and we figure out who the next president's going to be humble, whether it's your pick or whether it wasn't your pick. This is humility goes a long way. So don't get hurt if you lose, and don't get too prideful if you win. Speaking to my American crowd of listeners, I would say, hey, we're all Americans here. The United States of America. Don't forget that united part. We're not the divided states of America. That's what we need. We need a little more humanity in our lives. So number one, a little amnesty. Number two, a little humility goes a long way. And number three, to win the week, is to think past this week. Think past what's going on in politics and start focusing on 2021's goals. Don't wait until January 1st to start setting your 2021 goals. Don't do it, the day before New Year's Eve. Right now is the time to start thinking about next year's goals. Start milling it over a little bit. We have about a month and a half or so to really put pen to paper. So I'd encourage you to have a little notepad, somewhere you take notes, a journal, somewhere that's close by, because you might be driving down the road. You might be going to get gas, and you say, hey, boom, something just popped in my head. You know what? I really should do this with my life, or I should really do X, Y, Z. Write it down, and write it down right then and there before you forget, because it may go in one ear and right out the other. We want to capture that and put it down on the pen and paper. So think past this week's politics, think past this week's emotion in the country, and start planning what you're going to do in 2021, how you're going to make 2021 your best year yet. And I'll share this with you. One of the things that I use in order to help me with goal setting is I always ask myself this: for 2021 to be the best year yet, blank has to happen. And that really helps guide me in how I set my goals. And so I would always say, set some goals that have to do with your relationships, set goals that have to do with your business, set goals that have to do with recreation, travel, and the list goes on. Now, if you are part of my course, Your Life by Design, there's 8 key areas of focus that we go in. Definitely check that out. You can find it on my website. But set goals around that 8 areas of focus. So anyways, that's the 3 ways to win this week. Is number 1, amnesty for our fellow humans. Number 2, be humble in victory or defeat. And number 3, think past this week and start planning 2021's goals. So that's it, my friends. This is Del Denny signing off for you to win the week. Focus on those 3 things. Remember, learn, lead, and live to your full potential. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes to get automatic episode updates for the Upgrade Your Life podcast. And finally, please take a minute to leave us an honest review and rating on iTunes. Your feedback really helps us out when it comes to the ranking of the show, and I make it a point to read every single one of the reviews that we get. So thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me on the Upgrade Your Life podcast. Have a great day.